The CEO of Nissan has presented his plan to save the company, to drastically cut costs. They've shut down 3 factories. They're going to fire about just under 10,000 people. And they're going to do a whole bunch of other stuff in the United States, including streamline their management structure by 20%, get rid of 20% of their management, reduce what they pay to their staff. But is any of that enough? Well, Honda doesn't seem to think so. In fact, Honda is calling for the head of Nissan. They say he needs to be fired immediately. Honda and Nissan, last week, they said the merger or the acquisition, Honda essentially acquiring Nissan, wasn't going to happen. Now, it seems as though the reason has emerged for why it wasn't going to happen. Honda is saying, we need something from you, Nissan. You have to provide this. And Nissan's kind of going, well, I don't know if we can do that. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Great to have all of you with us. Thanks for your support. And 2025, it's going to be insane this year. Nissan this year, they are in a lot of trouble. They need Honda's help. They need Honda's finances. Honda is worth, I believe, has a market cap 5 times higher than Nissan does. Even though, think about it, Honda don't actually sell that many more cars than Nissan. That shows you what investors actually think of Nissan versus what investors think of Honda. I personally think both companies are a basket case completely. But anyhow, interestingly, one of the reasons the deal between Honda and Nissan was called off was because Honda said they had one requirement. Now, one of the requirements that I've already mentioned on the channel was that they were saying Nissan needs to, at minimum, triple their profits. And as a result, Nissan went and shut down 3 different factories. They shut down some production lines. They reduced the actual amount of workers they've got. They're saying they're going to fire about 9,500 workers. But according to one insider, Honda is only open to merging with Nissan if its CEO, Makoto Ukeda, actually leaves, resigns, disappears. Ukeda-san is reportedly facing pressure from his own board as well as partner Renault after merger acquisitions or negotiations broke down. Now, it's been called a merger, but the truth is that it's essentially Honda acquiring Nissan. And the reason I say that is just logical reasons, because this is Honda bailing Nissan out. 1. 2, the requirement of this new merger is that Honda takes over. So the board, the head of the board would be someone from Honda, and the majority of the board members would be from Honda. So as you can see, Honda would be in charge. Nissan was reportedly unhappy with Honda's request for it to become a subsidiary, instead expecting to be treated as an equal in the partnership. And let's be honest, Nissan expected to be treated as an equal in the partnership. Remember when Fisker was hoping that Nissan would bail them out and there was some deal apparently going to be happening? Do you really think Fisker would have said, oh, no, we expect to be equals in this partnership, Nissan? You're saving our bacon, but we expect to be equals. That is really incredibly delusional. Now, Nissan expecting this was despite experts seeing Nissan as, well, bringing much less to the table for the partnership due to its financial struggles, its shrinking market share, its shrinking sales. I mean, Honda's facing some of the similar issues, but they're nowhere near as bad of a position as Nissan are in. Honda was reportedly frustrated with the speed of Nissan's restructuring as well as the depth of its financial troubles. Honda CEO Toshihiro Mibe had previously said Nissan getting its financial house in order was a prerequisite for the merger. And I actually think that that's probably the biggest reason that it didn't go ahead. Honda was saying, you got to get your financial house in order. And Nissan's thinking to themselves, we can't do that without you. This is the whole reason we're actually letting you become our overlords, because we can't get our financial house in order. Come on, guys, our debt's rated junk. What are we meant to do? Last week, Ukeda-san announced Nissan's quarterly financial results and spoke of the carmakers' future following the breakdown in Honda negotiations. But before I say what he said, Nissan's actual profit went down. And we saw those numbers from the last financial year. They came out last week, went down by about 80%. He said this, can we continue to survive as a standalone company? We've been discussing that for some time now. This is a big subject matter. Without taboo, we have to explore all options. In other words, no, Nissan can't stand by themselves. If he could have, he would have said so. Or if they could have, he would have said so. My responsibility is truly significant. Stepping down without any improvement is irresponsible. It's not my intention to hang on to this position. The report is the latest in what has been a very wild series of news reports about Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi, and really about this so-called merger, which is just a nice way of saying an acquisition by Honda. The big thing here for me, though, and I think a lot of you guys, is this. I mean, Honda's CEO, he was asked, what do you get out of this deal? You know, they had this press meeting. They said to him, what do you get out of this deal? And he responded by saying, I don't know. He didn't have an answer. According to the Financial Times, Nissan's close relationship with Mitsubishi holds plenty of appeal as the smallest of the three Japanese firms has a strong presence in Southeast Asia plus plug-in hybrid technology. Now, that's what the media are saying, right? They're saying that Nissan is thinking, well, Mitsubishi's great. Honda actually think they are as well. Mitsubishi, they're selling about 1 million cars a year. They are a minuscule player on the global scale. Just because they sell cars in the United States and Australia doesn't mean they're relevant. And to be honest, they're not really relevant. They sell nothing in China. They left China. All their assets they had in China, they're all gone. They just left them behind. Their factories are just sitting there gathering dust. Mitsubishi, really, they're a tiny, tiny company that I mean, one bad year for a company like Mitsubishi and you're in huge trouble. So big risk to even consider Mitsubishi a significant player on a global scale because they simply aren't. Nissan is Mitsubishi's largest shareholder, but recently sold off an undisclosed portion of its 34% stake. Renault, the main title holder in the current Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi alliance, reduced its stake in Nissan from 43.4% to 35.7%. And I think Renault would sell more if anyone actually wanted to buy it. This proposed merger would have made the Japanese alliance between Honda, Mitsubishi, and Nissan the world's third largest car maker based on 2024 production volumes. And the reason I say based on 2024 production volumes is because 2025 numbers will be down versus 2024. 2026 will be less than 2025. You get my point. In 2024, Honda produced 3.7 million vehicles, down 12%. Nissan produced 3,144,000, down 9%. And that accounts for a total of 6.88 million vehicles. Mitsubishi, only 944,700, which was 7.7% less than the year before. I mean, imagine if Mitsubishi sales went down 20% this year. They'd be selling less than 800,000 cars. I mean, they're getting to the point now where they're becoming so small, they can't compete on margins of scale. So Mitsubishi are in just as much of a crisis, I think, as what Nissan are, based on the fact they're selling so few cars. Following the announcement, though, of this merger, that it wouldn't go ahead, Nissan said it would undertake major cost-saving measures in a bid to recover $4.14 billion by the 2026 Japanese fiscal year. And those were all the, closing down factories. In fact, one factory that is shut down is in China. You would think that they'd want to make cars there because they're so much cheaper to manufacture there than in the United States or in Europe. For context, though, Nissan's operating profit fell from 4.7 billion Australian dollars in April to December 2023 to 660 million across the same period in 2024. That's a massive slide. In some of the quarters there, they made a loss. Net income dropped by 320 billion yen from 3.3 billion to 52 million. 52 million Australian dollars. They made basically nothing in that year, and they have a lot of debt. And that, my friends, is the number one problem. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.